Freddy.
I can see you from behind. You can hear me in your mind. Run so fast as you can go. Time will catch you before you know.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create this special effects Freddy Krueger makeup look. These are the items you'll need: a bald cap, some liquid latex, some cream colored paints that you can get in your local Halloween store, some gel blood, some spirit gum adhesive, and last but not least, some toilet paper. The first thing we're going to be doing is gelling our model's hair down. We're going to be using a generous amount of gel to make sure that the hair is laying as flat as possible before we apply the bald cap. Then we're going to go in with some spirit gum adhesive and we're going to apply that along the hairline, making sure not to get any of the hair. Then we're going to tap that out with our finger and make sure that the glue gets tacky before we place the bald cap onto the face. Then you want to go in with the bald cap and cut out the areas for the ears. If you cut out a little bit too much and make a mistake, that's okay, because we're going to be covering it up with liquid latex anyway. We're going back in with the piece that we cut out, covering up the sides of his face, and then we're going to make sure that the bald cap is securely glued onto the face before we move on. So make sure you give yourself some time for the glue to dry here before you go in with the liquid latex. You don't want to go in while it's still wet, because then it's just going to move around and be really messy. Then you're going to go in with some liquid latex in a bowl that you don't care about and a brush that you don't care about, because this will destroy both items. Then you're going to go in with a generous amount of the liquid latex around the rim of the bald cap to make sure that the bald cap is secured onto the face even more. Then layering on the liquid latex, you're going to place the toilet paper in small squares right on top of the liquid latex and it'll stick to it. I like to work in small squares because you don't want to overdo it and have too much. Try to do little bits of at a time. And then you're going to take the liquid latex and go right on top of that toilet paper and generously coat the toilet paper until it molds to the face. Then we're going to go in and cover up the eyebrows. Try not to get the liquid latex or the spirit glue onto the eyebrows. I covered it up with some toilet paper and I'm adhering it to the face with the liquid latex. That way his eyebrows will not get pulled out when you take this off. Continue to work in small sections. You're going to lay down pieces of your toilet paper and coat it with liquid latex. Then for the side of the face and the top of the ear, we're going to coat a small piece overlapping the ear onto the head. So when this dries and you paint it, it will create a distorted and burned or melted appearance of the ear. Then you're going to just continue on and continue layering on the toilet paper. I did about 2 layers of toilet paper and liquid latex. So I'll lay down the latex, then the toilet paper, then the latex, and then the toilet paper and latex again. This creates a thick layer of skin that you can work with in the end when it's completely dry. We're just gonna move on to the rest of the face. I'm just fast forwarding through this. Just be sure to know that this is very time consuming and it takes about an hour and a half to do this full process. So if you are interested in doing this, be sure to give yourself plenty of time before you're going wherever you're going to complete this look. Then I'm just filling up the center of the face with small pieces of toilet paper and liquid latex, and I also did 2 to 3 layers on the face as well. Making sure to give the latex and the toilet paper lots of time to dry. The way you can tell it's dry is by touching it, and if it's starting to feel more of a hard textured kind of feel, then it's completely done and you can move on to the next step. The next step is just to use a powder foundation with a slight skin tone color and completely coat the latex and toilet paper with this powder so that it gives a flesh tone appearance. I'm using the MAC Studio Fix powder for this. You can use any powder that you have. Then I'm gonna go in, this is the tricky part, you're gonna carefully, it's in fast forward so it looks like it's happening really fast, but this is gonna take a lot of time. You're gonna slightly pull up the liquid latex and then you're gonna create a small hole, and carefully, you can use scissors or you can use something a little more safe. This is my fiance, so I'm using scissors and he doesn't mind. Always ask your model what they feel comfortable with. And you're gonna cut out a small hole on the side of the client's face, and then you're going to continue to do that all along the sides of the face and onto the bald cap. These holes will create wound-like appearances for burns, and we're going to fill up kind of the whole side of the face and the top of the head with these holes to create lots of texture and burn-looking wounds. Just take your time with this. This is another part that's very time consuming. The two parts that take the most time are laying down the liquid latex and cutting out the wounds in the liquid latex. Everything else is pretty fast and simple. These are the two most tedious parts. Be sure to do not get frustrated. Just take your time with this, and you can kind of just be sporadic with where you're placing the holes. Doesn't have to be so structured. The more messy it looks, the more gruesome it will look towards the end when you apply the makeup. So I'm just continuing to cut out the holes on the rest of the face, towards the center of the face, and I also brought this down to the neck. Next, I'm going to take the cream colored paints, and I'm going to take this shade right here, and I'm going to use this to create more dimension and more color to the face, and I'm going to be applying that just everywhere, all over the face, all over the neck, all over the head. This doesn't have to be perfect. This doesn't have to be evenly coated. You actually want it to be a little bit more messy so that it creates dimension and texture. And I'm kind of applying that inside and all over the wounds and outside of the wounds as well. Then I'm going to go in with this black color cream paint, and I'm going to take a more dense brush for the larger holes, and then I'm going to be using a smaller, more defined dense brush for the smaller holes, and I'm going to be filling up the holes with this cream color in black. And you want to make sure you get the entire hole and a little bit of the edges as well. Take your time with this part. Sometimes these cream colors are not as pigmented as you'd like. If you want, you can use a black gel liner, you can use a black eyeshadow. I just happen to have these. They weren't too expensive, so they did the job. And you're gonna just fill up the entire face. This is another part that takes a little bit of time, but it's a lot quicker than the latex and the other parts as well. Then you're gonna sporadically spread some of the black all over the face, kind of messy. You don't want it to be perfect, but you don't want to get too crazy with this. You want to just, this is another step that will help create the dimension. Then I'm going to go in with this bruise colored cream paint, and I'm going to go in with a flat top kabuki brush, and I'm going to brush that all over the flesh part and a little bit on the wounds as well, all over the lips. And I'm going to saturate the whole face with this color. This is going to create the burn and more of the dimension as well. And I'm also going in with a little bit of red, and I'm mixing it with that purpley tone as well. That's going to create some bruising, and it's going to help with the dimension as well. If you use about 3 or 4 shades, you get a really good dimensional kind of burn. You don't have to get crazy and use tons of colors. You can also add like yellows and greens for kind of giving a pus effect, but that's a lot more time consuming as well. So I just stuck with the basics here. And so I'm just continuing to fill up the face with those 2 colors, and I also covered the eyelids. Now I'm going in with a translucent powder. This step is pretty important if you're using cream colored paints. I'm just mattifying everything that I've done. I don't want it to be shiny in certain areas. So I'm first mattifying everything I've done before I go in and add the blood and all the other stuff that I'm gonna add. Now I'm gonna go in with this gel blood that I also got in the Halloween store, and this textured net sponge that you can get in any craft store like Michael's. And I'm going in first and filling up the holes with the gel blood and going in afterwards, and whatever's left on the sponge, you're gonna stipple it around the wounds and around the face. You're gonna do this all over the face in every single wound. Now I'm just going to create an illusion that the shirt is also burned as well with a little bit of black cream paint. And that is it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe and stay tuned for more special effects videos for this Halloween season. I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Are you afraid of the dark? Are you scared? I can see